Hey friends, hi everyone. Welcome back to my channel, Divine Vibes. Again, it's about slowing down, connecting with God, and finding encouragement in your daily walk. So let's dive in and let His peace set the tone for your week. Today, I want to talk to you and share with you about giving your situation an expiration date. Okay, y'all, so much to unravel here. So, this whole year, since I have moved back home from Texas, just with just other current situations and things like that, this whole year I have been on, contract jobs and things like that. Well, my previous job, my contract had come to an end. Um, well, I'm not going to say a little sooner than expected because it was really supposed to be over in October, but I was blessed to get an extension. But it was just the way that the contract had ended. It was like weird off into the weekend. It was like late Sunday night when I got the text message and stuff. It's just been a lot of like, little funky things that's kind of been going on in that company that I was working for. I peeped a lot of stuff. But I prayed about a lot of things as well. And God did make a way for me. And regardless of how funky, shady, suspicious of this company or whatever, it blessed me beyond measures. I was able to handle so much stuff outside of work. It benefited me so much, and it was a true blessing that I was able to take care of so much that I was able to take care of. And then just being able to work from home and being home with my kid, which was something that, I wanted. I just didn't, really expect it to have happened when I was offered this job. But God has really been taking care of me. So regardless of what happened or what's going down, because clearly it's some things that's unraveling, that's hitting the surface, y'all. And then I had found out that the supervisor was like talking crap about me, which is, I don't really care about, you talking about me. I don't care. Like, people's going to talk about you. And I always say they talked about Jesus and he was perfect. So we're not exempt from it. But I just kind of laughed about it because I'm just like, me and the supervisor, we didn't even talk enough for her to even, speak on me about anything. But everything is coming to surface. I mean, there's people that's like, I guess, trying to fight back with the company because they're not trying to pay them out. And apparently that some contracts has been broken on the company's end. Um, and they was, telling us, to you don't have to worry about coming in. The contract is in due to low call volume and things like that. But apparently, I have found out that they are still, like, they're saying that we moved to a different program within the company. Like, our contract is still open, even though they told us, the contract has come to an end. So it just seemed like just some shady, fraudulent type business stuff that's going on right now with it, and some people are really clapping back at it, and it's just a lot of stuff that's being revealed. And one of the girls that I become close with on the job, we end up exchanging numbers, and she was like telling me, she was like, go file for unemployment because of some stuff that's going on here. Like, it's a lot. And she said that her and another employee were, reporting some fraudulent, suspicious things. And she said that they attacked them, like, I guess, like, threatening them, trying to make them feel scared, like trying to put somebody in their place or whatever. And she's like, yeah, that was all I needed to know that, when none of us wrong about what was going on or what's supposedly going on in the company. And it's just a lot. And then, so with all that being unraveled and stuff, some things had came to me about what was said, about me from the supervisor. And again, when they had mentioned that she was like talking about me, I just was like, okay. But what made me email the supervisor and ask her about all this was not that she was talking about, but it was the lies that she began to do about me that I felt like, respectfully, let me check her because what? So yeah, so apparently this was like some time earlier on in the program and stuff. And I can like clear as day go back over the timing of when all of this happened, because we wasn't much happening in the program because it was new. And apparently some girls that were kind of going into another, I'm not saying another department, it was still the same, program or whatever that we were in. They were just kind of doing something just a tad bit different from the rest of us. And so they had to do like a meeting or whatever with the supervisor to go over some quick training of just what they're going to be doing with that in particular. And so all of that had came back to me, and they were saying, yeah, the supervisor was, talking mess about you. And I guess some other people, whatever. And then she went on to say that she was like, yeah, and she was saying that she had to tell you to stop eating and to check your kids. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I was like, that's definitely a lie. I said, that's definitely a lie. I said, for one, kids, plural, baby, I only have one. And the fact that she don't even know me enough to even know if I have kids or not is what's crazy. And I was just like, eating where? Like, I've been in the game long enough to know what not to do. Like, you're not supposed to be eating on a phone or when you are on a virtual call with patients. Like, that's very unprofessional. Like, I know that. I've been in the game too long to know better. And I said we've never had a conversation like audio over the phone. And the only time that we had a virtual call with each other was at the beginning of the program when we were doing one-on-one training. And I was just like, my kid was never in the room, and I didn't even have food on my table when I was doing my one-on-one with her. And I'll say any other time I've never spoken to this woman, like, as far as like over the phone, or where she felt like she heard me eating, or, supposedly my kids were going crazy in the background, when that's crazy because, like I said, I don't have multiple kids. And I was just like, any other time, I've only heard this woman speak. And her hearing me speak was in a work group meeting. And I said, I kept everything on mute unless there was something I needed to ask or whatever, or needed to respond to. I said, but that's crazy for her to even lie on me and entertain other employees to something which was not true. Like, she don't even know me. And I said, for the most part, I've always kept it professional with her. So it was just like, in my head, I'm like, God, wow, what's up? Like, what's her problem with me? So I emailed her, and I just, I laid it out. I didn't throw nobody under the bus or anything. But I did ask her. I was like, and the one particular question I asked, I said, are you sure it was me that you telling everybody that you had to check and tell me to stop eating and check my kids? And so, you sure that was me? And I'm not saying she ain't had to check whoever for this matter, but what I am saying, it wasn't me. So I just had to lay that out up to her. And I told her also, I said, I'm not coming at you at anger or upset. I said, I'm in a calm headspace, and this is not out of emotion, but I'm coming to you about it. And as I'm waiting for her to respond or whatever, she finally responds, y'all. But I haven't opened it up yet. I will eventually. But I prayed about it before, like right after I got the email, I got the notification. I prayed about it. Like, I just sat down and I just talked to God about it. And I said, God, I forgive her. I'm not upset, but also I asked God to forgive me if there was anything that I did that I was absolutely not aware of. And I even told her, I said, what went wrong that that caused you to do, like, what, where did I bother you at for you to say this about me? I said, what did I miss? Because I feel like sometimes we can um do things and say things, and we not um realizing how it came across. But I've never interacted with this woman like that for her to speak on me. Like, I've never talked to her enough for her to even know I have kids. Like, she don't know I have kids at all. Like, I've never had that conversation with her. My kid has never been in the background of any of my meetings. Like, I kept it very professional, and I always kept it professional with her as well. So I'm just like, I was always there when she needed me for anything. Like, I missed several of my lunch breaks, and like, it was very rare that I went to lunch at my exact time or whatever. But that's not the problem. That's not, whatever. It's just like, I always kept it professional, and then for me to hear that, I was like, oh Lord. But I prayed about it because, I also, like I said, I was peeping a lot of stuff. And But at the same time, I remember kind of getting comfortable with the job. Even though I knew it was a contract, I had started getting comfortable, y'all. And I'm telling y'all, the moment that I got comfortable, that I even said it out my mouth, boom. And I'm just like, okay, God, God didn't want this for me. He was like, nah, it's time to move around, because I feel like that was not his intentions for me to sit there, because I do believe that he has something greater and bigger for me. So just with all that going on, so right now, I applied for unemployment and things like that. I kept my head up, and I understand, like, all this happened like literally a week before Christmas, and then I still got like one or two bills to take care of, and I know the check is not big, but hey, I'm still keeping my head up regardless. I know that God has something in store for me. And so with that being said, that does bring me to Romans 8:28. And it says, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. So I am a believer who loves God. And I do believe that no matter what I face or what I'm going through, that is ultimately bringing out a greater good according to his purpose. And within our suffering, y'all, within, situations, I know that it is his promise of a divine purpose. Life situations, especially the one that I'm in now, and even previous ones, as well, that I've dealt with. This is a time where I practice what I preach, and to enjoy practicing what I preach, because there's been times where I would tell my friends or just tell people in general to stop focusing on the problem, instead focus on the problem solver. And I know that that's easier said than done, y'all. But truth be told, that the very moment we allow ourselves to dwell on the problem, we have left sight of God, and we have made space for doubt. And the chances become slim to none of us seeing the promises of God. But I want to allow this to be a reminder that God will see us through. And you can read that in Romans 8:28, Philippians 4:19, Isaiah 52:12, and 53:5. I do recommend that you all read up on those scriptures. Also, Psalms 91, that whole chapter, read it. That is one great big promise right there that he's telling us. Read it, pray it, ingest it, declare it. Speak all of his promises daily. Because in Proverbs 18:21, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Meaning that there is power in the tongue. So let's use that power and speak his promises and his word over our lives. Speak it over our babies' lives, because they are the next upcoming generation. Speak it daily, whether you're talking to yourself, to someone else, to your cat, to your dog, it don't matter. What matters is you speaking his promises daily. I know that God has promised to take care of me, y'all. So, and I know he promised to take care of his people. Even when it doesn't look like nothing is happening, God is working on it because he promised to never leave us nor forsake us. So, with that being said, these are some things I do encourage you all to do with me when the good is not yet visible. First thing is grow through it with God, not go through it, not glow, grow through it with God. And what I mean by that is it's important that we are cautious on how we respond to tough seasons, because that is the key to victory. We have to be mindful and understand and know that these tough seasons, God can be using this time to draw us closer to him. So we have to continue to pray, continue to read his word, and to continue to always lean in on him. Another thing, speak God's promises daily. And that's just what I just said here previously. Declare God's word until the good comes to pass. Again, remember there is power in the tongue. So use that power, speak his promises, align your faith with his promises, and trust his timing. I know that what it looks like for me, but I also know the struggle does not last always. I know that God will work this out for me. I know that God will work it out for you. I know that God will work it out for his people. What we are facing is only temporary, y'all. God has already prepared a way for us, and our blessings are just on the other side. That's why I say, give your situation an expiration date, because the best is yet to come. So thanks for hanging out with me today here on Divine Vibes. Thank you for allowing me to vent with y'all here on my channel. And remember, may you continue to be guided by God's light. Carry those divine vibes into your week. And don't you forget that you're chosen, you are loved, and God is not done with your story yet. Talk soon.